Let's face it, superhero films start to blur together these days. It doesn't matter how star-studded your cast is, how many explosions you add, or how many sequels you make. I was watching Wonder Woman the other day, and I have to say it was refreshing to see them deal with some of the problems I have with modern superhero films. And no, it's not because it was the first film with a solo female hero. If you were to ask an audience that just saw the film if they could describe the theme of the film in one word, most of them could quickly tell you it was love. But if you were to ask that of an audience that just saw a Marvel film aside from Doctor Strange, Thor, and the Avengers, the percentage that could come up with a theme would be much lower. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of the MCU, and I have seen all of the films in the MCU at least twice. Marvel built the MCU on likable characters and interesting stories. In short, they built it off of a cool factor. Almost anyone can sit through a Marvel movie and not be bored. It may not be their favorite film ever, but they won't be bored. One of the best movies in modern cinema is Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg. And in that movie, we follow a handful of characters for the entire film. They are the only ones in danger, but we are much more drawn in and attached to them because of it. But in the more recent movie, Jurassic World, there are a lot more people in danger, and the stakes are much higher. But for some reason, it just isn't anywhere near as gripping. To quote Joseph Stalin, who said, "A single death is a tragedy, a million deaths is a statistic." For a team like the Avengers, saving just a few people would be too easy, so the filmmakers needed to step up the stakes, so that by Thor the Dark World, we literally have 9 planets about to be annihilated. And this brings me to the first thing where I think Wonder Woman really wins out over Marvel. I'm calling it the importance of the unimportant, or the importance of the unimportant character. The first few scenes of the film have a very innocent Diana growing up and training on the island, without any real problems, sheltered from the outside world, basically living in a fairy tale. Diana has never had to deal with the outside world, so death and murder and crime are very new to her. This is what I'm talking about.
Nooit hebben de afgepakt. Heute wordt die hele niet konden ontsnappen. Die worden de oud-slaven meegenomen.
Wat is dat gebeurd?
Bert, aan die andere kant van die Louvre.
Dinah, we have to go.
We need to help these people.
We have to stay on mission.
The next safe crossing is at least a day away.
What are we waiting
We
for?
cannot leave without helping them. These people are dying. Nothing to eat, and in the village enslaved, she said.
I understand that, but
Women,
we need to make our next
children.
position by
How
sunlight.
can you say that? What is the matter with you?
Diana is incredibly distressed at the deaths of just 100, and Gal Gadot's excellent acting job makes you feel attached to the characters that you haven't even really seen. Like I said, it's the importance of the unimportant. In the Avengers, our heroes are fighting in New York City, and thousands are dying, but the heroes themselves don't even seem to care. Time and time again in Marvel films, you see that the characters don't really care about the civilians, even though we know that the characters like Captain America would die before they let any random person die. But when this pain at death is not conveyed by the actors or the music or anything really, we don't feel their deaths very much. We aren't drawn more into the story like we should be. The film doesn't impact us on an emotional level, which is where Wonder Woman really wins, with the obvious emotional theme and lives actually mattering in the world of the film. We become much more attached to the problems of the people and the characters in the film. Now, one of the places that Marvel really shines is in its comedy. Marvel movies are funny. There's no other way to say it. But a lot of the time, the humor is out of place. Almost every superhero film has a point in which the hero or heroes decide to do the hard thing and put their lives on the line for others. And it is in these moments that the filmmakers should be most confident in what they have made. They should be ready to build on that emotion of triumph and the excitement we have to finally see what they will do, or can do. But Marvel often ruins these moments with jokes. However, these are not necessary. They are a waste, and no one remembers the jokes at the end of the film, and it ruins the emotion you were going for, further disconnecting us from the characters and their problems. Here's an example.
Stop.
Wonder Woman had its funny parts, but they weren't done by witty jokes or comments, but simply by the story. If Diana started cracking jokes, it would have been weird, and while the humor was intended by the filmmakers, it was never funny to the characters that we were following. Like I said, Diana has never seen the outside world, and our customs are so different from that of her island, so she has no idea that she has to do things differently, that she can't just walk around in armor, or she can't just carry a sword everywhere.
Yep, that's not gonna work. Please put the sword down, Diana. Diana.
Let me try it by myself.
After you, sir.
Why don't I meet you back at the office? And meanwhile, I'll take this for safekeeping.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
You gotta put the sword down, Diana, please.
It doesn't go with the outfit.
At all. Put the sword down, first of all.
The comedy is funny, but well-timed. The scenes in Wonder Woman, similar to the one I was just talking about, is the one where she walks out into no man's land to save the innocent people she just heard about. There are no jokes in this scene, and the moment is much more powerful for it. From this point on in the film, there is practically no humor, and it works out perfectly. We get drawn into her problems, and the emotions and tension we are feeling doesn't get interrupted by witty comments or smart aleck jokes.
What the bloody hell is she playing at? Engage! Fire!
She's taking all the fire, let's go!
So I hope this helped you understand a little bit more of what goes into making a good film, and how to keep an audience's attention. If you haven't seen Wonder Woman already, I highly suggest you go watch it, or if you've already seen it, watch it again with the things I talked about today in mind. This has been Echo Productions, I'm Silas Willoughby, and I'll see you next week.